Every status or non-status and self-identifying Indigenous person, including any status or non-status First Nations, Métis, and Inuit person in Canada, is entitled to Gladue rights. Gladue rights mean that courts must take into account each person's past when they are arrested for a crime. It is a response to the over-incarceration of Indigenous people. We must understand how colonization has impacted the person. We must respond to the needs identified by the person with culturally informed and responsible healing plans that still meet the general principles of sentencing. When a crime is committed, each person followed a path in their life that brought them to this moment. This path sometimes includes abuse, fear, loneliness, trauma, along with family, happiness, community, and love. Sometimes this path was carved out before a person was born, set in motion by genocide, residential schools, the Indian Act, 60s scoop, and ongoing systemic racism. This intergenerational trauma affects a person, impacts their experiences, and the choices they have and make. When a person is arrested, they should be asked if they identify as Indigenous. And if they do, they should be informed of their entitlement to Gladue rights. They are then invited to share their full story with a Gladue report writer, who their parents are, where they come from, their experiences growing up, positive and negative. We hear what makes each person happy, their hopes and wishes. We start to weave a picture of their lives. And we start to sketch out a future path together. A unique healing plan specific to the individual that includes culture, community, Indigenous laws, and well-being, along with the supports a person needs to get there. No one can take away your Gladue rights. They cannot be waived by lawyers, judges, or anyone. Courts must hear and understand each person's truth and consider alternatives to incarceration where appropriate and possible. Gladue rights help a court see the whole person in front of them, not a criminal. The sentencing is more likely to be based on healing and accountability, not punishment. However, each individual's sentence is dependent on the crime they have pleaded guilty to or been found guilty of after a trial, and the judge taking into account all of the purposes and principles of sentencing as set out in the Criminal Code of Canada. After sentencing, each person's healing plan will be different, but all plans include helping them identify and work through the root of their trauma. Sometimes this involves healing with those we've harmed by being accountable and accepting responsibility. Some of us will spend our whole lives healing, but we can turn that process into something good for us and for our communities. Engaging Gladue rights empowers Indigenous people to heal and shape their path into the future and for future generations.